Football team nation, what is going on? Here we go, big week. Ryan Kerrigan, no longer a Washington football team member. And we got some big news on Morgan Moses. But first, I want to say I apologize to everyone right now. We just started this YouTube channel and I have yet to get a haircut. And my response is because I've been pushed back. Anybody knows if you get pushed back by a barber, you got to go sometime without a haircut. So now I'm in the rough phase of not getting a haircut nor a lineup. And I just want to apologize for the past two videos that I'm in that phase. So forgive me. And Todd, how you feeling?
Man, that is funny. I love your honesty, your forwardness. Now, if you're listening to this and you're not watching it, now you have to go to YouTube and watch it and see what he's talking about. But I mean, man, it's been I even though the barbers are open, it's been a tough year under COVID, especially as it pertains to. I mean, my hair looks kind of whatever. Also, we're new to this, YouTube thing. We're getting used to being on YouTube and having to look presentable. It's whatever. I think you look great. And your shirt is very nice too.
Thank you.
I know it wasn't cheap, so it's okay. Yeah. You have an expensive shirt on. We'll get I actually taught myself to line myself up because I was like, your shape up goes bad like every week.
Yes.
So if you really want to stay sharp, you have to go to the barber like every week.
Yes.
Which is how much do you pay for your haircuts, including?
So it'll be like $100 a month.
My gosh. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna just start teaching it doesn't have to be barber quality shape up, but it's free. So it's not, but it still looks
especially once you're married. I mean, you have nobody but your wife.
Right, exactly. But that was hilarious. All right, we are back. This will be our second on YouTube, but as you know, if you're watching us on YouTube, we've been doing our podcast for a while. To listen to our podcast, we just started posting stuff on YouTube. So check out either, both, one or the other. Wherever you check it out, like, subscribe, rate it. If it's upon the podcast, like it. If it's on YouTube, comment, share, do all of those things because, we appreciate that and we enjoy interacting. YouTube is nice because we can interact with people. Right. But yeah, so you want to touch on Kerrigan? Let's touch on Kerrigan first because that's not really as big of a deal. I thought there was a chance maybe he would come back on like a 1-year cheap deal, but apparently that was never in the cards. And now he signed with the Eagles. Good for him. I would have preferred to see him go to, because I know they said like the Steelers were interested. Yeah. I wanted him to go to a contender because I wanted him to have like a real shot at, making it deep into the playoffs, maybe winning Super, because he deserves that. I care less about him being on the Eagles because they're our rival. It's more about the fact that I don't think they're going to be very good this year. I think they might be the worst team in the division this year. Either way, even if they're the best team in this division, they're not going to be very good. I wish he would have gone to a better team so he could really try to compete. I would have loved like the Chiefs or the Bucks or I don't know, one of those teams. But good luck to him. He'll probably get a sack on whoever plays quarterback when he plays against us. He'll probably get
I'm going to say he doesn't even play against us this year.
Well, that's possible too. Go ahead.
As late as it is in the season, I mean, it's like
that is true.
Is he going to be? I mean, he may be benched. They may be looking to get these young guys, whoever they have,
Right.
That's why I like the signing because I guess I could cheer for him from afar, but the fact that we probably may not even see him. I mean, I'm sure they'll put him in a game at that time, but I think he may play against us like once. I don't think he'll play both times. So.
Yeah, because we play Eagles week 15, no, week 14 and then 16.
Exactly.
Something like that. Yeah. Or I think 15, whatever. I don't know. It's in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, he kind of just gives them good depth. Their defensive line is the strength of their team right now.
Yeah.
But he'll be a rotational player. And, he would have been even more of a rotational player here. I mean, you saw early on here, I think he only had 7 snaps in the first couple games. One of those games, he only had like 7. And Rivera said, we want to get him more snaps, but you can't play Ryan Kerrigan over Chase Young and Montez Sweat. No. And then, you have young guys who you want to see if they can be your long-term, because you're going to have to address the depth at the position at some point. Right. And it's better to have young guys who cost next to nothing, who can be your depth for 3, 4, 5 years versus Ryan Kerrigan, who $3.5 million. And then next year again, so it makes sense. And I mean, thanks to Ryan Kerrigan, because he really was a really solid player for
Yeah.
Washington for a number of years. He was never great. I would have loved to see him with someone on the other side who was even better, because then I think it would have made him better. Arakpo was not that.
Yeah.
It would have
Yeah.
been if you got Chase Young like 5 years ago,
Oh
and then
man.
Ryan Kerrigan on the other side. But he was a consistent player, just never hurt. You know, about his business. So good luck to him. And yeah, we may or may not see him on the field. Well, we won't see him on the field because we're not players, but
Yeah.
even though we pretend to be. But let's talk about the Morgan Moses that just popped up 30 minutes ago.
Right.
I want to know what you think about that.
Um, I was kind of surprised. Obviously, I thought he played very, very well last year, and then the depth that we have, I figured that they would at least maybe bring Cosme along slow.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, they liked something that they saw in the mini camp where maybe the O-line coach was just like, all right, let's get him out there. And the thing I don't like about it, I guess I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I love it actually because cut. You're starting to see Ron just build his team, and it's not any
Right.
holdovers. It's not it's a couple of them like Way and a couple of them, but
Yeah, defensive line guys.
defensive line guys. But it was just too much. Moses, he would. I'm still haunted over the game where he comes back in
The Seahawks game.
yeah, the Seahawks game, and then he gives up a sack. But all I mean, he worked hard. He was a cornerstone on the offensive line for years, and third round pick from UVA. So I'm always gonna like him. But I love the direction that we're going. I think he wants to match the youth of that defensive line. And I just love the new regime. I was talking with someone the other day, just talking about how Ron, he just breeds competition out of everyone, and if you're not here, like at the OTAs, I know it's like voluntary, but a part of me is like, they know they don't want to miss because something like this may happen, and obviously you're gonna hold that
opportunity. It is an opportunity.
Yeah,
it's not that holding it against them, but it's opportunity.
Exactly.
Especially for younger guys.
I could see Ron looking back in the season where players confused and like, look, if you would have came in the offseason, you would have had it down. But I just think it was good to part ways, sell high. I think he has value of a third or fourth round pick. I think he kind of recouped that fifth that we gave away earlier this year to get back in the seventh round.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say is Moses, you're probably not going to listen to this pod, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you getting away with false starts every single play. And you were a linchpin on the O-line. But it's a new regime, and we got to get better. There's no point of it. The offensive line has reached its match, its potential with that group. Yeah. So I wonder what Cosme, and I wonder what Charles, must say a lot about Charles too, coming back as well. So
yeah, it's we're so used to this team. I'm used to them holding on to players longer than they should, versus because I feel like with players you either move on too soon or too late. I feel like it's tough to really move on at the perfect time. With Moses, he did have a solid year last year, kind of a bounce back, because Morgan Moses was never great. He was solid, and then sometimes he was, not great. But last year he was pretty solid. But I will say, there's no reason to think for sure he was going to come in this year and be as good or be better. He could have taken a step back. He did always fight through injuries. Like, he always played through injuries, but it's also like, let's not pretend that didn't affect his play, because when he played hurt, he didn't play as well. That's just, that's a fact. And then he wasn't going to be here after next year. If he was on the roster this year, he wasn't going to be next year, because next year he counted close to $8 million against the cap, $7.7 million against the cap, and you could cut him, 0 dead cap. So it was guaranteed next year was going to be, or this upcoming year would be his last year.
Right.
By doing it now, you're getting rid of him, potentially getting something for him. I think fifth is the max personally. I mean, Eric Flowers was traded for a swap of sevenths. I don't really know, how this trade will differ in terms of, how the league views Morgan Moses. He's a capable starting right tackle.
Yeah, for sure.
So, a fifth would be great, but you're getting rid of him a year earlier, but you have young guys you want to play. Now, Rivera has proven he is not afraid to play it. Not only not afraid to play young guys, I think he prefers to play young guys. I think he likes them to get their feet wet, to kind of coach them up as much as you can, throw them in the fire, see how they do. I wouldn't be surprised if Cosme's your starting right tackle day one with Lucas as your swing. And if Cosme struggles, you could throw Lucas in there. But he wants Cosme to play the second round pick. You expect your second round picks to contribute. Right. And then the fact he's much cheaper than Moses. And then again, you were gonna move on next year. There's no reason to belay that. Let's do it now. Maybe get something for him. I'd rather you look at what the Patriots do year in and year out. They get rid of players where you're like, why? That's a good player. And then what happens? They go somewhere else. They're not what they were, right? Fizzle out. And then they end up coming back to the Patriots for next to nothing. And I don't think Moses will be back, but you look around the league and other teams, they know how to operate. Right. And if you have an overflow of talent, especially if you have someone younger who is cheaper and you think has more potential, can come in and take over, by all means. So I'm not set. I mean, Morgan Moses being on this roster is not going to make or break the team this year at all. Right. So Morgan, I do. He's been a solid player for a number of years. To be a third round pick and to be, what he's been, that was a great pick
for sure.
He did get away with false starts at an insane, it's incredible. It was like honestly, like lots and lots of plays, and the play went on. Okay, but if Morgan Moses was a Trent Williams level player, Chris Samuels level player, maybe even was it John Jansen, right? Who was on the right side for a number of years opposite Chris Samuels, then maybe I'd be it. But Morgan has been solid, but it makes sense to move on. So I'm fine with it. I like that. Like Rivera's, I don't think he's looking at these guys who were here before and saying, I got to get rid of you. I think he's saying, we're going long term now. We're going younger. We're going athletic. We're going new. We're going cheap. And that just happens to be new players. And so he doesn't dislike Morgan Moses. I think he's bad, but I think they'd rather have Leno, Lucas, and Cosme, and they think that's the better option. I'm cool with it.
I think what he's doing is I think he's trying to build a dynasty. Yeah. In a sense of sustainable, continued players where you got this youth movement who've won a division for the most part. Right. So now they're accustomed to winning, at least for that matter. They don't know anything about the past regime. Yeah, right, so right. You kind of have a staple, and that's why I think he drafted so many guys this year, was to kind of infiltrate that culture. So now you look at it, this group of free agents and this group of draft picks, they're coming into a division winner. So now that work ethic is already set in place. So now next year, when you get your quarterback, when you get everything else, it's the same thing. So it's just trickling up, and the culture is already there with your guys, Chase, John Allen, Montez. And then you got linebacker Davis we just got. And now that culture is starting to set. And I think he wants to build. That's what I admire about Ron is he doesn't want to build like a 1 year flash in the pan Super Bowl or playoff. Right. He wants to build a sustainable winning culture. Right. And that's what I admire about him. So, and this is all part of the process. I mean, we thought Adrian Peterson, we look back at Dwayne Haskins and Trent Williams and
Quentin Dunbar.
Dunbar and all the people that we didn't resign. Yeah. We signed and we're just like, oh, it's the end of the world. Well, no, that's not the case. No. We got a whole new regime.
They found someone better.
Right, exactly. Someone
better. Yeah. You just look back. I mean, 2019, the number of starters, really for position groups, the rooms that are just overhauled is insane. I mean, but you could look back at last year to compare it to this year. They're going to have a new starter at quarterback. They're going to have two new starting wide receivers, a new number 2 tight end, new starters at left tackle, left guard, and right tackle. They're going to have a new starter at inside linebacker, new cornerback one, and a new free safety, maybe a new strong safety, new kick and punt returners. So, I mean, you went from 3-13 to 7-9 overhaul. And now your 7-9 team was better, but it still wasn't good enough. So you still have to find other players, better players. That's what they're doing. I like it, man. I'm all aboard. They have my trust until they lose it. But the reason they have my trust is because they are experienced. They are football people. They are people who are not egotistical maniacs. They're not power mad. They are actually trying to do it the right way. So they can make mistakes. They will. They probably have already. and I can acknowledge that. But I'm going to, rather than just, if it was Bruce Allen doing this, I'd say, well, that's probably a terrible decision because he's built up no, credibility.
Right.
I think Rivera and these guys and Mayhew and Martin and Scott and these guys, they have some level of credibility just because they're doing it the right way.
Right.
So even if they make a bad decision, they were doing it the right way. So I'm just trust them in the meantime, and then we'll see how it plays out.
Same. I mean, we look back at all the questionable the things that we question. Like, I'll say the only mistake Ron has made, and he publicly,
was not having the
quarterback
competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But everything else, everybody's like, oh, why you get rid of Peterson? Why'd you get rid of Geis? And I mean, all this stuff. And they got rid of Geis really before that stuff came out. So Ron he's done a heck of a job with just building the team and not having to answer anybody besides the players and of course people he has in the staff. And that's what I like about this situation. Now I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen with Sheriff now.
Right.
I don't know. Is he part of the plan? I don't know.
Yeah. That's a good question. That's a good question because are they trying to clear up cap room to do something with Sheriff, to do something with John Allen? And then I mean, like you said, even the Dwayne thing, I could see how that it was a mistake, but I also think that it was okay because I think you needed to see him play.
Right. Yeah,
I think the fan base needed to see him play.
Yeah.
Because there's no question now that anything Rivera did in regards to Haskins was incorrect.
Yeah.
So even if it was a mistake for the team, because the team would have probably had a better chance, probably would have won more games.
Oh my goodness.
They may have won those games. People still would have been sitting here saying, "What about Dwayne Haskins?" Well, no. Now it's clear. As always, these episodes are brought to you by Hot Chikn Kitchn in Woodbridge, Virginia. Try them out. Best chicken sandwich that you will have. Nashville style chicken, especially if you love hot stuff. They've got hot for you. And then Dun Pro Financial. If you need to get your credit fixed, let them fix your credit for you. They got a great deal. DunProCreditRepair.com/credit offer. If you're on YouTube, we've got the links below. And we appreciate our sponsors. Anything else you got for us, Tay?
No, I don't think so. I wonder what's next.
Yeah, I wonder. They can hit us with anything at any time.
Seriously.
I was wondering about Morgan, but I really didn't think it'd be till after next year. But they save nearly $8 million in cap space by trading him.
That's huge.
And then you've always got the conspiracy theories of, are they clearing up room for Aaron Rodgers? I'm gonna go with no, but that'd be great.
I'm gonna go with no.
I'm gonna go with the hard no, but that would be great.
That would be nice.
That would be great. All right. Well, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. We always appreciate it. This is Todd.
This is Tay.
We're out.